Hey guys, hope you're well. I was going to do a quick chat about energy system development. And this is, I'm going to go through a couple of slides of a bigger project that I'm putting together, which I'll probably upload onto YouTube soon. One of my most common questions I get asked is things like, how much volume should I do of tempo running? Should I do mass running? Should I do tempo running? How does this fit? How do I progress these certain things? But before I go into that, I think a lot of us get caught up with just the physical aspects of performance, which makes sense because we're all strength and conditioning coaches, but we need to be aware that there are other correctives that are extremely important. And this includes technical, tactical, psychological, as well as the physical aspects of performance. And we need to have a holistic approach with our coaches. And so how we can basically put a plan together so that we win games. And obviously this tactical periodisation is all the rage at the moment, and with good reasons. It's because, it's not always the fittest side that's going to win the game. It's usually the sides that have the best tactics, who perform under pressure, and it can do that with the most skill. But obviously work capacity and things like that will obviously help support all these other factors. So what I'm going to talk about right now is how I go about planning some energy system development over a pre-season. Okay, now just looking at a couple of slides from that larger video that I'll do in the future, but this table is taken from Dr. Fergus Connolly's book, Game Changer, and it outlines the different progression and emphasis of drills throughout a pre-season and the competition period. And as you can see there, the conditioning drills have a high emphasis early pre-season, which makes a lot of sense because you can build a lot of work capacity and get guys robust and ready to put more specific needs onto them at a later date. And then later pre-season, we're going to have a bigger technical, tactical focus where we're really working on our game model and the sub-principles of that game model so that we have the ability to carry out and execute the goals that we plan to do in the game, so that we maximize our chance of winning. However, early pre-season, we do quite a bit of physical, conditioning drills. And why do we do these drills? And why don't we just play the sport? It's because just playing a sport will not maximize your adaptations that are crucial to the sport. We need to create training that supports what we do and not actually replicate it. And one way we can do that is reverse engineer the sport and look at the actual movements that occur. So with rugby league, that is specific skills, the ball, linear running, multi-directional running, tackling, wrestling, and grappling. And if we train these movements separately, we can then maximize the adaptations and we can put them back together into the actual game. And we can focus on our game model later in pre-season and be ready for the competition period. And then if you look through the progressions, you can create your own, but in rugby league, I had running work capacity, robustness and efficiency to high speed running, multi-directional work capacity and efficiency. And you could also place in grappling, tackling in there as well if you don't have a wrestling coach. And as you can see, as the pre-season progresses, there's an increased emphasis on tactical play. So initially we're gonna have a higher amount of conditioning drills, which are gonna be general, higher volume and lower intensity. And these drills are gonna become more specific with lower volume and high intensity, because coaches will be doing a lot more of their specific drills, and then we'll just be doing top-up training with some of these higher intensity methods. And you can see, rather than trying to pinpoint certain adaptations, you just have a more agile approach, as Mladen Jovanovic would say, and we go from longer intervals to shorter intervals, into intervals and drills that are really get players fatigued in a game, so you can get down, get up, grappling, tackling, and then with the extensive linear tempo, that can become more intensive, which can then become more repeat speed work, and the same principles for your multi-directional stuff, extensive multi-directional tempo into intensive, into more small-sided games. And obviously, once we're doing more of this specific training at a later date, we can control the time, the intensity and the recovery periods to try and get the outcomes that we're after. And, putting guys in specific game-like scenarios under fatigue. That's probably when guys are learning how to solve problems. That's true mental toughness work on the field, putting guys in, knowing how to, as a unit, as a team, how to work through these scenarios and solve problems. Hope you enjoyed this talk. Look out for my bigger one where I'm going to go into a lot more detail about all this stuff. Thank you very much.